Hey, Waffle Gang, I do hope you're well. My name is Mark, and today we're checking out some more relationship stories. And if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too. As I always say, it truly massively helps out the channel. So thank you so much if you do these things. And let's crack on with today's first story. Now, today's first story comes from Dress Designer Drama from the Am I the A-Hole subreddit, and says, am I the a-hole for not designing my cousin's wedding dress, even though I've designed everyone else's? Long-time lurker, first-time poster, and sorry for mistakes, English is not my native tongue. So, I, 29 female, have designed all the wedding dresses for my cousins, siblings, and aunts for the past decade. When my elder sister, 35 female, got engaged at 24, she asked me to design her dress since I'm passionate about design. She always loved my style. Her dress was a knockout. Everyone loved it, and ever since, whenever one of our relatives announces their engagement, they ask if I can design their dress for them. I've always said yes because I absolutely love doing it. It's so much fun. On to the issue. My cousin, 23 female, is getting married next February and called me up to see when we could meet so she could share her ideas for her dress and I can start designing it. I do not like this cousin at all. Her parents spoiled her beyond rotten. I decided to still meet with her though and see if anything has changed since she is now an adult. She immediately shows me photos of wedding dresses by Sarah Burton and tells me she wants something exactly like the pictures. I try to suggest a change in neckline or color and she shuts it down and tells me she wants exactly that. I told her I would not be making her a dress as I love designing clothes that embody their wearer and suit them, not rip off other designers so she can look fancy in a knockoff. Some of my family, and especially her and her parents, are beyond upset and have been blowing up my phone because I've broken tradition and my baby cousin's heart because she's looking forward to having me make her wedding dress for years now. I feel kind of bad, but at the same time, she's taking the fun and bonding out of designing a wedding dress. And just a comment where OP gives some additional information, saying it was more about like designing. OP said, so designing the dress is just drawing it. Some designers like myself can also sew the dress after they design it. Not all designers can do this. Incentive sewing is another set of skills. Someone says to OP, would you have done it if she were using it as an inspiration and not a copy? OP says yes, if I was designing any aspect of it, like if she wanted the train and neckline from the dress but different sleeves, bodice, skirt and whatnot, I would have had no issues. Now the way it was explained in this story is that she immediately shows you photos of a dress by another designer and she wants you to basically copy that exactly like the pictures, and even though you made suggestions about altering some certain things, she was like, no, I want that dress. So to me, the way it was explained there, it just sounds like she's just trying to save money by, like you say, trying to rip off someone else's dress. And I'm not sure if it was done in the exact way that OP says, but I'm assuming it's going to be that, she phoned up and said, can we meet so I can share the ideas for the dress and start designing it without actually asking or anything like that. Just, I'm expecting you to do it because it's a tradition in our family, etc. That's like super entitled. Sure, it'd be nice, but surely you're going to phone up the person and say, oh, if you've got time, would you consider designing this dress for me? I'll obviously compensate you for your time and things like that, but the demands in this one is bizarre. Not the a-hole from me, obviously. But Do I Want to Know says, if your cousin wants a specific dress, she should just buy the specific dress. The tradition was for you to design the dresses and sharing these moments of creation with your family members. Of course, her and her parents are upset. The sort of dress she wants costs a lot of money. Having you do it is much cheaper. I think it's time you broke with a tradition, not the a-hole. Bamf says, and not the a-hole, she's not asking you to design a dress. She's asking you to help her save a buck on a designer dress. Besides, you can say no for any reason you want. Your family is not entitled to your efforts. Kronk says and quotes, I love designing clothes that embody their wearer and suit them, not rip off other designers so she can look fancy in a knockoff. And says exactly right, not the a-hole. These are gifts you are given, not demand you are capitulating. Cousin and her parents can kick rocks. I was going to say the other one that people usually say after kick rocks. I've forgotten what it is though, damn it. Moffat says, not the a-hole. You can just say, I'm a designer. I design custom, one-of-a-kind dresses based on the personality of the wearer. I do not create copies or knockoffs of other designers' hard work. She wanted me to create a cheap copy. That's not what I do, and frankly, it was insulting of her to even ask me to make a copy. If she wants to get with me and we can come up with something unique and custom for her, I'd be happy to. Olivia replies to that and says, I wouldn't even offer to get back with her again. If she had wanted to talk about a custom dress, I would have been interested, but since she started treating my offer of a custom one-of-a-kind dress as entitlement to demand my labor for a knockoff and is leveraging family members to harass me, I'm no longer interested in gifting her my efforts. The Riker maneuver suggests you should say this: designing wedding dresses for my family members has been a passion project of mine for a long time. But what I'm not is a rip-off artist. Cousin wants me to knock off a designer dress to help her save money. That is not what I do, and also it's a legal grey area. Will absolutely help Cousin take design elements from multiple dresses to help create something unique and custom. That is what I have done for the other women in this family. I draw the line on ripping off other designers. There are plenty of seamstresses around that can knock off the dress exactly the way Cousin wants, but that's not what I do. I do custom. Cousin can have a custom dress made by me, but that is not what she wants, and as such, I cannot help her. Not the a-hole. And OP replied to that they may send that to their family. But anyway, they come in a little bit later with an update to their post and says, so the good news is I managed to set most of my family straight on what happened, and they apologized. And a few aunts even sent me chocolate and wine as a proper apology for all the stress I was dealing with. I decided to meet with Cousin again just to see if she had changed her mind. And if not, I decided to record the conversation to send to a few of the people who couldn't believe my cousin would lie to them. As expected, she was still insisting that I copy the other dress design. I still refused and told her if she wasn't going to budge on this, then I am leaving. As I started grabbing my stuff, she said fine and asked if I would let her have my dress. I was stunned. She started going off that it's her big day and she deserves to look like a princess, and if she can't have the Sarah Burton dress, then the least I could do was let her use my dress since it was never used and just sits in my closet collecting dust. I left, then went home to relax and honestly cry after what just happened. As expected, a few members of the family text me again, upset that I won't let her use my dress. For background, I was engaged back in 2018, but called the wedding off in 2019 for personal reasons I will not discuss. I designed the dress myself and sewed it, but my grandmother added all the little details on it. I'm talking Indian style wire threading, rhinestone and everything. I couldn't bring myself to get rid of the dress, but I also knew I'd never feel comfortable wearing it again after the engagement ended. My grandma sadly passed away shortly after due to COVID. I did end up gifting the dress to my friend for Christmas. We supported each other during our dark times, and she finally remarried earlier this year, so she wore the dress to a reception. Back to the actual story. My cousin apparently told our family I was being unfair, and that since I didn't feel like designing a dress for her, she asked if she could use mine just for the ceremony so it would feel like she had grandma there with her, and I told her no. I sent the recording I had to everyone who texted me and they were shocked. Most apologized, but a few who I've decided to block still thought I should let her have it since I would never wear the dress. When they found out that I gifted it to someone else, they were even more upset since according to them, I clearly wasn't attached to it since I gave it away. That would have meant more to my cousin than to my friend, who didn't even know grandma. Like most people suggested, I did go no contact with cousin after this. And a bit more about OP's story that was down below in the comments. OP said no, the mods wouldn't let me put it in my post due to mentions of violence being prohibited in the forum, but I wound up in the hospital because of what my ex-fiancé did to me. A friend I gave the dress to went through a similar ordeal with her husband, which is why I felt right that she have the dress. She got a second chance, and so did my dress. Gotta say, that very last sentence there set me off, where she said she got a second chance and so did my dress. OP sounds so incredibly sweet in this story, and I'm glad that she did get no contact with his cousin, who just seemed to keep doubling down every time, going back to their family to harass OP about it, which is just bizarre. How her family are not taking a step back and realizing, what they are doing in this, it's just weird. I always find it really strange trying to get into their heads about this and what they may be thinking. You just think, bloody hell. But now I'm going to turn this one to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, and let's move on to another story. Now, our next story comes from the True Off My Chest subreddit from Curious Car, who says, I kissed my daughter's friend's mum and I'm really happy about it. My daughter is 6 and she met her new BFF at the start of the school year. Her mum is a very nice lady. They don't live far either, so we have invited them over a lot. It's become a regular thing for the past 2 months to have them over every weekend, both Saturday and Sunday. Either we take the girls out somewhere fun or we stay in watching movies, doing other activities. I spend lots of time alone with her. We can talk for hours about anything, and the next thing we know, time has flown by. Then the butterflies in my stomach and the blushing every time she smiled started hitting me. I've been a full-time single dad for 3 years since my ex decided to walk out on our daughter, so dating has never been on my mind. They spent Christmas Eve and Christmas with us, which led to them staying all weekend. The girls fell asleep on the couch watching Encanto, and it was me and her up for another hour chatting. Had a little bit of wine in me, so of course I blurt out that she looks beautiful right now, randomly out of nowhere. In the end though, we kissed, so it looks like it worked out for me. My heart was racing so fast. I'm pretty sure my whole face was red as hell because it felt so warm suddenly. Lol. We're both smiling like total idiots. Before they left earlier, she kissed my cheek and man, I just wanted to pull her in. It's my first kiss in years, with someone I feel really connected to. It's just been a really great weekend. Very, very happy. And that was on December 26th. And then on January 1st, OP came in with another update and said, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I've got a girlfriend, guys. And let me tell you, as a single father who's usually way too busy to date, that's nothing short of a miracle. I asked her out and she gave me an enthusiastic yes. It was exciting. It was nerve-wracking. We had dinner the following night without the kids. Gotta admit, it did feel a little awkward. No kids there as a distraction, and this was meant to be romantic. We eased into it though. Then we just didn't want the night to end. After dinner, we walked around her whole neighborhood, just talking until it was really starting to get late. She looked so beautiful, I couldn't stop looking at her. And last night with the girls was, I can't even describe how happy it made me. We agreed not to tell them about us being together for a while and no public displays of affection in front of them. So even if it was hard keeping our hands to ourselves, it felt nice making dinner, watching movies with the kids and making a comfy pillow fort. They swore they were going to stay awake to watch the ball drop. Famous last words. They were out before 11, kids asleep. Then it was midnight and we shared our first New Year's kiss. Best night I've had. We did end up getting carried away, but you know what? I don't care. It was amazing. We stayed up all night talking afterwards, chatting about everything. Life, where we want things to go. It's been a long time for sure since I had an intimate conversation like that with anyone. We sure as hell didn't regret staying awake all night when we woke up at 7 AM to the kids playing downstairs and asking for breakfast already. Been a chill day today. Can't stop smiling. For me, this is what it's all about. Happy New Year's, everyone. I'm definitely looking forward to all the possibilities. That's a lovely little post, and I love when someone explains about the excitement. And I know it's like early days in their relationship and stuff like that, the honeymoon period, if you will. But since then, OP has deleted their account, but I do hope things have continued in the way that they were going for them and moving forward as a happy little family unit in the future. But who knows? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below, and let's move on to another story. And to finish us off, we got some neighbor drama going on over on the legal advice subreddit from Major Bummer. That's come with an update as well, saying my neighbor, whose driveway is parallel to mine, placed wooden planters in my driveway, blocking me from exiting my car. What can I do? This is in Quebec. Pronunciation. We have constant legal problems with this neighbor, and none of them are ever resolved because they are just minimal enough to not be worth talking to a barrister about. But I'm really annoyed with her being brassy enough to put wooden planters in my driveway. They have fallen and the cars have been scratched. If I need to drive towards the back of my driveway, I cannot exit my car except through the trunk, and she didn't ask to put them there. They're on what is legally my property. Can I use them as a place to put my cigarette butts or something? There are no flowers in them, just dirt. Occasionally they fall over and block my driveway entirely. Can I put flowers in them? If I can't get rid of them, can I at least make them useful? Since they've been on my property for months now, can I just have them thrown out? If I asked her to get rid of them, she will scream at me and make a huge scene. I've had to tow multiple cars from our driveway that were her guests. She's placed random dumpsters in our driveway at 6 AM without telling us. I'm sick of letting her petty behavior slide, and at minimum, I just want the planters gone. I've tried moving them back onto her property line, and she's moved them back into my driveway. Edit. A comment disappeared asking if I have documented previous incidents. The answer is yes. However, in Canada, our documentation is limited as both parties need to consent to recordings, so our cameras only point at whoever is in front of our door and the very end of our driveway. All of our neighbors were informed about the camera installation and we were not recording their property. She has moved the planters out of view of the cameras. I have the timestamp app and am considering taking photos twice a day to prove that they have been abandoned on our property. I'm not sure if this would be worth my time though. The local authorities have other things to do and care about her planters on my property. I even recently called 911 to report a downed power line that posed as a danger to anyone walking on the sidewalk. The dispatcher told me, I wish Hydro-Quebec, the city's power company, would stop telling people to call us. It's their problem. The cameras have captured other things such as her letting people park in our driveway, her verbally confronting me while I was standing on my porch by the front door because we towed her illegal worker in our driveway, and her animals wandering onto our property. By illegal, I mean that permission from the city to do construction was not obtained. If anyone wants to make physical changes / do renovations or construction, you need a permit from the city, which protects the workers from being paid unfairly and ensures that safety measures are being taken. She doesn't do that. We wanted to report this to the city, but we're afraid of retaliation. She's already tried to kill my dog once prior to installing the cameras. What the hell? Where did that come from at the end? 12-letter name says, first, be certain it's your property. Have you had a survey done? If they're on your property, you can do with them as you please. She has no right placing things on your property. Opie says, yes, a survey has been done. We have a line marking where her property ends and ours starts. We had to make this clear to her in the past when she wanted to repave her driveway and we didn't. So we've had a clash in pavement colors clearly indicating where her property stops. If you are correct, I assume you are, but just to be sure, I'm going to double check some local laws. I think the planters with no plants in them belong in the compost. Since they're made with untreated wood, they're a bit of an environmental hazard anyway. But now I need to look up if untreated wood can be put in the compost. Outside Confusion suggests a good fence, a tall and solid one. You have the largest choice of colors and themes and price ranges, also a good sign on that fence. It can say pretty much whatever you like, but I'd say no trespassing, violators will be towed at vehicle owner's expense. Good luck and be safe, and other people just suggesting, document everything. But then OP updates their post and says if you don't want to read the whole original post, here's a summary. My driveway is parallel to my neighbor's and she placed planters on my driveway. They were blocking me from exiting my car to the point I had to climb out of the trunk a few times. Our driveways, though parallel, are made of different pavement, which clearly indicates whose property is whose. My neighbor, or someone else's that lives in the household, must be on Reddit because a few days after I made my post here, the planters were moved back onto her property. The next day, they were destroyed and put out for the garbage collectors to dispose of. It seems that all I had to do to solve this issue was post on this subreddit. Color me surprised, but also very pleased I didn't have to lift a finger to deal with this matter. Seeing as she, or someone she lives with, seems to regularly be on Reddit, you might be seeing more posts from me about other legal issues she has willingly created or ignored. I'm relieved. This is the easiest and best outcome I could have wished for. No wasting my breath arguing with her, no need to bring out the pettiness, and she disposed of them herself. Thanks for the advice, and now it's almost time to enjoy the weekend without climbing out of the trunk of my car. Edit. I've received heaps of messages saying two things. A, I need to burn this account, and B, Quebec is a one-party consent province for recording conversations. I'd like to touch on that if I may. I'm not worried about A because our neighborhood is for the most part made of amazing people to call neighbors. I don't foresee having any issues, especially when public security, think of them as government-funded neighborhood watch with the authority to issue tickets for non-felony-esque things, is only minutes away. As for B, people DMing me and saying that I only need one party to consent to a recording in Quebec are correct. If we are in public, In a private setting like my own property, where there's an expectation of privacy, I can only film and record what is mine. So if someone walks into the street and starts shouting and making a scene, that's one thing, because everyone else can hear. If they're simply walking their dog past my house and they're on the adjacent lot, I can't record them without permission because they have a reasonable expectation of privacy. The law is oddly specific and we have to double check when installing the cameras. There's something about neighbor stuff that really gets me going. I'm not sure what it is. Maybe it's my past. I don't like the fact that they're going through a hard time and they're having to deal with it. But the way that people do deal with it and the petty stuff that comes out every once in a while really tickles me. But I still can't get over that first part of the post really, where I'd be saying, yeah, this neighbor just keeps breaking the rules. They keep allowing neighbors to park on my part of drive. They keep putting planters on there. And oh yeah, they tried to kill my dog. What the fuck? That sounds like one scary ass neighbor. But what do you guys make of this situation? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And just a huge thank you for spending your time with me today, getting involved in the stories, your love, your support, your time always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much for being involved. And hopefully I will see you in the next one. Take care and much love.